Looking outside in the streets of Buffalo, New York, welcome to the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships. It's been a great competition, and the lights are shining as they are inside Harbor Center ahead of this final match in the preliminary round in Group A. Norway currently with a win and a loss, and Japan still yet to record a victory. But an interesting prospect indeed in this final match, as we say, in game day number 3. Ahead of these two sides, Norway with a victory over the Czech Republic in day 1. They lose to the Canadians in this group 5-0. The Japanese still yet. They take a very difficult loss against the Canadians, 17-0, but a real tight one against the Italians, 1-0. All of that really means nothing now, as a victory by the Japanese, as we set the table and the Norwegians come on the ice first, could change everything in this final match in Group A. And there you see it. Canada already through to the semifinal round, and who will go through to be the other semifinalists from this Group A? Well, it all depends on this match, so stay tuned here with us as we look at the officials for today. Kevin Webbinger is going to be the official, and Matt Clark and Toho Kim, the two linesmen for this one. I'm Brent Pope, and I'm joined by Taylor Lipset as we look again at the Norwegians and their record so far in this tournament. And Taylor, with all of your experience here looking at this one, we're both a little bit equally surprised the Japanese are still alive in this tournament with a big victory if they're able to do so here in this one.
Yeah, after they lost to Canada 17-0, everyone really thought they were out of the mix. And then they came back against the Italians and only lost 1-0. They played a much better game, much more physical. They were more assertive. They were forechecked harder. And they really bounced back. The goalie had a great game. So if they play like they did against the Italians against Norway tonight, I think we might have a good match on our hands.
In goal again, Christian Hamar will be the goalie of choice for the Norwegians. Patterson to watch out for, number 3. He has been in amongst it this entire tournament, and he will be the go-to guy again for Norway.
Patterson definitely the quarterback for the Norwegian squad, and you can see Coach Espen Hedge here, his first year as head coach of Norway. He's revamped things a little bit here and has them playing a new, more puck possession style offense, and we'll see if they can take it to the Japanese tonight.
And the Japanese, Nagase will get the start and the nod in goal again, as we have seen the other goaltender, Fukushima, but he will not be playing. It'll be Nagase. Look out for Takahashi, number 55, Kumagai as well, one to look out for, number 96. And they have been hanging tough ever since that very difficult first period of 12 goals conceded to Canada. Koja Nakakita has done a good job at steadying the ship and making sure this Japanese team kept everything in perspective at these World Championships. Since
that one bad period, they've gotten better each and every period. Despite not scoring a goal yet, they still have gotten better, and they've taken positives away from each game.
That is Nagase looking on, and he's got a very focused look at him. Hamar, he's done his job for the Norwegians. They get that victory in the opening match over the Czech Republic, and then, well, they take on the Canadians, and that was always going to be a difficult matchup, although the Norwegians know how to win tight games when it gets through to the semifinals and the medal rounds. Will they get there? That is the question. It is all dependent on this next 45 minutes or possibly more. You're watching the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships from Buffalo, New York. We're about to get underway, and we are. And in white, the Japanese going from right to left, and the Norwegians in red with the blue trim, almost looking a little like the Montreal Canadiens of the National Hockey League in their uniforms, but they'll take it through the neutral zone over the attacking blue line. They're in a good position. Otenbake is trying to open up a little bit of daylight to get in, but he won't be allowed. And quickly, the Japanese will collect it. And you get a sense, just watching these two teams in the tournament so far, there will be a little bit of physicality, but a lot of the play, I think, will go on in between the years again. They're both pretty cerebral and considered about how they like to play hockey.
Both teams try to possess the puck, try to, make stick-to-stick passes and establish a presence inside the offensive zone, and much less focused on speed and quick attacks as they are getting into the zone and making their presence be felt.
Patterson tries to get to a better position. He is immediately met, though, by 2 Japanese defenders. This looks good. Patterson, the build-up. The feed down, that's a good shot. And Nagase is tested early. That's a great shot from Patterson, and he has scored from there already in this tournament.
That's a tough angle, and Nagase did a great job getting a piece of the glove on it. The Japanese trying to get the puck out right now.
Norwegians all have tagged up. It's onside. They'll continue to move this puck and have positive play in the offensive zone. Solberg just kind of slings it back around again, and Varnes is going to have to get in there. He does. He collects it back, and now he's met with a couple Japanese defenders immediately there. Takahashi, he's a big face-off man. He can be at both ends of the rink, and he's a pivotal part of holding his Japanese team together. And particularly when they had that difficult first period against Canada, you thought maybe they would collapse. They have done anything but, as Norway are back in behind their own goal line. Line changes for the Japanese. A little bit of room for the Norwegians to get going, but again, it's not really the speed so much as it is a puck possession game, and they will play physical, but right now both teams are just beating each other out. Exactly,
trying to establish the pace of the game right now, kind of get a sense of the flow. And right now, both teams doing a pretty good job. No big mistakes as of yet. And like you said, both teams just really trying to feel each other out right now.
A little bit of a difficult route here for the Norwegians to get out from behind their own goal. They've maybe made a little bit of careless loss of the puck there. And it's going to be a shot, and it's going to be blocked. And they've had to recover well, but they have a 2-on-1 developing. The Japanese are working hard to get back into play. Coming across the line here, they still have possession. A shot, it gets turned over, picked up though by the late man on the play. And Magnus Bogla will just knock it in, and the Norwegians will go for a line change as well. And that is often the case, isn't it? You get excited to think that there's an odd man rush, but that back pressure creates a lot of mistakes.
The Japanese did a great job back checking right there. All 5 guys coming back in the zone just to try to break up that pass, and luckily one of them did. I think Viernes probably could have made that pass over to his teammate a little bit sooner to capitalize on that 2-on-1, but waited just a second too long.
And that's that phrase that you know I'm so fond of, making the play when it's available to you as opposed when you have to, as Klakag will go back and he'll just sort of relay it on to Jakobsen. They'll get themselves regrouped, and here they come again in numbers. Aren't able to be perfect on that pass, but they get there and then they knock it in. The majority of the play so far has been in the Japanese end zone, but they looked a little uncertain, Norwegians did, behind their own goal. But regardless, Jakobsen will just throw it back in, and here they come. Patterson, a danger man. He's got possession. He is their veteran, and he is their leader, the go-to guy that holds this entire Norwegian team together, really, both at the offensive and defensive side of the puck. Takahashi will just bump it out into the neutral zone, and they will regroup and get themselves recollected as they tag up. And this is a good tag up here. Patterson late coming out of the zone. He's got some room. He's got Backay in front. It's a good shot, but it goes wide by at least 3 feet. It comes around the board. It just is now carried out. This has worked out well for Patterson. To Backay, there's a penalty coming on the play against the Japanese, and now that they touch it, they will be assessed with the penalty. And it's that late kind of return out of the zone from Patterson that creates that movement, because at the moment both teams doing pretty well to match each other's speed. You just have to be mindful that when they tag up again, you can't forget where all 5 of the players are on the ice.
Yeah, he just snuck in on the left side there and went to his patented right to left hand moving. A good shot on net, but I think Kumagai just got a little too much sled on the hit there. You see, maybe it was high hands there. I thought he might have got him with the sled, but looks like his hands might have just gotten up a little bit too high.
And a penalty immediately taken off the faceoff, and that has got to really drive the coach, Espen Hedge, crazy, because you're in a good position to take it, and not so really. He's a very calm customer, isn't he, Hedge, on that Norwegian bench, but it's got to be frustrating for a coach just when you get a power play that you give it up so quickly.
Yeah, 3 seconds in and they take their own penalty there, and you have to be a little bit more discreet when you're picking players. You can see, well, that was a little out of frame there, but your job as a center iceman there is to just block the guy out a little bit, but you got to be discreet about it, and just a little too obvious, and the referee called him.
Bogla will battle. It's 4-on-4. There's more room on the ice, and who this will favor will yet to be determined. Takahashi is taken off of the play, and it's a battle really in both sides, not really gaining much advantage in that particular sequence. Over to this side, Norstoga now. Varnes will come up, and down the ice it will go. And this is a little bit of maybe a surprise decision just to throw it down the ice when in fact they were in a better position to control it and maybe start to link some passes out of their own zone with possession.
I'm not sure he didn't remember that it was 4-on-4 there. I thought maybe he thought they were on the penalty kill after that other penalty that Norway took, but we are 4-on-4 here for another minute and a half or so.
Referee ready to drop the puck. Such an important part of this game is these face-offs. This one's won by Norway. They will take it. They just kind of move it quickly, and both sides you can see already making plays, maybe assuming that somebody's there or quicker than they actually have been able to confirm with sight that it's available. And that might be a little bit of the game here, the composure that they can implore, as it will be Boglett. He's lost the stick. How difficult, but he might get it across. And I thought he was going to pass it. He likes to shoot it, but maybe a better option to pass. Easy to save from here. It's a save from Nagase, and here comes the Japanese.
Either way, a good play to stay with it and get a good quality shot on net. And now we've got another break the other way by Sorheim.
And Sorheim has scored in this tournament already. He has taken a nice feed and right out in front of the net, a one-time shot, if you'll remember. But this is now the very steady approach of Sudo, and that's a little bit of a mishandle there from Hamar. A long-distance shot in, and we see that so often. And that one is not cleanly taken by Hamar.
Yeah, a little too casual there, especially for his coach's liking, I'm sure. But nonetheless, he kept it out, and the Norwegians looking to come up as a group now.
Jakobsen will control it now. 65, long bomb up to Patterson. Will he lay it off of Varnas? He doesn't need to. It's a 3-on-2. They're all on side. There's an option here late for Sorheim. Good shot there, and a save by Nagase. And an important one, as that was penciled for the top right corner.
That was a great play by the Norwegians to gain entry into the zone. A nice little pass from Patterson over to the left to Viernes. And a quick shot. Great save by Nagase.
And he does a little bit of a double clutch to make sure he's got it. We're scoreless at the Harbor Center in Buffalo, New York. And the Japanese getting themselves set and ready for this important face-off inside their own zone. Just 3 more seconds on the penalty belonging to Kumagai, number 96, and then they'll have a short, well, power play for 4 seconds. It really is negligible at this point. They'll want to win this face-off, and the Norwegians have been very strong in the percentage, winning 60%. Here is another one then for him. Look at that, it's off the bar, and immediately the referee calls it off, and that's how important face-offs are.
That is a go-to play for the Norwegians there. You see how good on the face-offs they are, over 60%. And Patterson just trying to draw that puck back to Jakobsen on the point, and he got a great shot off, and Nagase a little lucky there. He's going to have to kiss his post in the intermission here.
A little bit of good fortune, and maybe shining on the Japanese in this one. Yet to be determined. Patterson will try and do something about that missed opportunity. He'll shoot from there, right off of Tahashi, and it goes right off his face mask into the corner. And they continue just to manage this Norwegian forecheck and the offense that they're generating. This is a turnover and a careless one. Solberg right on a stick, a shot from the outside. They get in the way though. Again, Solberg, and too much easy opportunity right now for the Norwegians. You sense the Japanese are about to concede. Blackegg will come in and force the issue, and a lot of hard defensive miles being put in right now by the Japanese.
Yeah, they're just being a little sloppy in their own zone, just throwing the puck up instead of getting it out.
There is one, and I don't even think Nagase saw that through all the bodies, but it forced the puck wide, but he couldn't even see it if it was on goal. As Jakobsen will now take collection of this one. They'll just carve it through. Patterson is a menace right now and making it very difficult for the Japanese side to defend. And this will just get away from Norway, and they will have to recompose themselves, and a good moment to recollect out in the neutral zone for Japan, as it looked like they were on the ropes. Here they go, Jakobsen, a shot in. Nagase does not handle that particularly well. Rebound, and that could have gone in just as easy, but it's over the top of the net and right against the ropes. you've got a sense that Japan are in trouble.
They're definitely running around in their zone a little bit right now. Norwegians kind of having their way, circling the puck down low, using their points a bit. Japan's got to get control here. Or, like you said, they might concede something here soon with Patterson kind of taking over this first period.
Great work. There's a scoring chance. There's 3 already to Norway. A lofted puck into an area. It's a good play, actually. And just that extra little bit of height in the air, allowing the Norwegians to get underneath it and then immediately putting pressure on. And there's no time for Japan right now to recover. And some good work. Varnich just kind of kicks one out into a good area. And it's just some good and strong territory and possession right now from Norway. They are playing a clever game.
Norway sending 2 guys to the puck at all times. Now we have Solberg just sitting in front of the net. Japan's got to make sure they're aware of where all the forwards are for Norway.
And Sudo, an important job by Japan to settle things down. They'll get a face-off in their own zone, and they can at least make a line change. We're scoreless at the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships.
See here, the best chance for Norway thus far. Klake just rips a shot and he hits the upper corner of the post there, and Nagase just dodging a bullet there.
And he was beaten cleanly, wasn't he? Klake just clocks it right off that left post, and to beat him in that blocker side is generally the preferred choice for the shots to come in, as it is so difficult. There's a restriction as to how high the goalies obviously can extend that blocker, and in order to control that rebound as well. But Sve in on this face-off, and Japan with 5:53 remaining in this first period would love it if they could get themselves out with conceding. And not saying so much that they're right on the cusp, but they're not far off, as definitely the opportunities coming more the way of Norway at this moment in the match.
Norway definitely kind of controlling the pace of the game thus far, but not generating a lot of offensive opportunities. Only 4 shots on net. So they need to start getting more pucks to the net, try to get a rebound. The goals don't have to be pretty, they just have to go in.
Around the wide side, kept in, Shioa. He'll just make certain that for a moment, Norway is going to have to do some defensive work, and they're not going to have it all their own way. As Shioa again, this is better, and he moves it across only into an area where the Japanese can recover it, and that's much better work. Masawa, though, it's a one-on-one. Abdul trying to get up as Rivera, now Norstoga. This is a man advantage situation, but if Abdul is on his own, he puts it right against Nagase. Pretty comfortable save, and they'll move it into the corner, but it's given up again as Klake will step in for that blue line, lofted shot, and Nagase takes it in the glove. And actually a little bit of reassurance there that he had seen it. He was on top of it, and he makes a comfortable save.
Good job by Adval there to carry the puck all the way through the neutral zone into the offensive zone to get a shot on the Japanese goaltender there. He's a rookie for Norway. I've actually never seen him play before, but a good job there, under control, and got all the way in the offensive zone, and a good shot on net.
Nagase focused on this draw. You have to be, as things happen very quickly and often scoring opportunity. But you would not notice that or recognize that from this one. But here it pops out. Quickly to it, though, is Kumagai, and you see the players really sort of kind of laying on the puck, just not wanting to allow it to come out freely, particularly if you're the defense and you know the offensive team are just looking for a chance to get to it first and get a very good shot in on goal. They'll work it around. Solberg, the one to control it. He's maybe giving it up. He got turned over. Can they get there? There's going to be a penalty. Jakobsen is taking down Yoshikawa, who immediately was trying to get onto that turnover. Interference penalty coming up. And our first look at this Japanese power play.
Probably a good penalty for Jakobsen to take right there. The Japanese forward, Yoshikawa, would have been all alone on Hamar. So that's one of the ones the coaches might let slide, and actually tell him good job on preventing a good scoring chance right there.
You're right. I think one of those plays, a clear-cut opportunity like that, And there's no doubt that that would have been a momentum changer in this one. As it is, the Japanese with a power play, we'll see how well they take advantage of that. Sometimes it gives license to the team killing the penalty. As you look, they've been able to get 1 goal of 2 opportunities in the tournament. Sudo down to Takahashi, so they will just approach this with a little bit of belief that this is a window in order to get on the board for Sudo. Remember now, if the Japanese are able to get a victory by 2 goals or more, they in fact will go through that semifinal round. So who would have thought that after they opened this tournament being defeated 17-0 by Canada? But it is still all in the balance, and a goal here on the power play would go a long ways towards that, as they will look to see where they want to shoot, how they want to shoot. They lay it off. Takahashi can go to the net. Maybe from there he'll just put it out further, and they'll wait for a shot, and it's going to come from a distance. And sometimes you think there that maybe a better shot in close than to defer to the blue line.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to find that perfect shot, which really doesn't exist. Instead of just putting the puck on the net, maybe a better chance of getting a shot and then a rebound than just trying to find that perfect one.
That's a good shot in, and as a rule of thumb, 60% of goals in the sport of stand-up hockey come from the rebound. That lofted effort in there can be troublesome, but it's shielded and taken in well and collected by Hamar, who tracks it all the way in. But as we've said before, the sight line of the goaltender can definitely be impeded here with all the players in front, so those elevated shots can be difficult, obviously, to defend.
Yeah, the sledge hockey goalies don't have that ability to get higher or look above the players or necessarily even squat down to see below the traffic. They're, like you said, the players' helmets are right in their line of sight, so it can definitely be a challenge, and you never know when a goalie screens, so that's why coaches tell you, put everything on the net that you can.
Good forecheck here from Bogla. He's just forcing the Japanese defense back, and they'll regroup again. Haven't seen a lot of the puck with Sudo as of yet. He's out there. He's the captain, and he has carried a lot of valuable minutes for this Japanese side so far in the tournament. But a steady build-up and a steady approach by Japan, and it will get out of the zone, and this should pretty well see the remaining seconds off of this power play opportunity. Now Norstoga breaks the play up, and Patterson, they'll feed the puck to him. He goes all the way back in his own zone, and he elects to try and play it into an area. It's fallen favorably for him. Odin Bakke would just get it in, and at least this allows Norway to settle down. They're 5-on-5, 2 minutes remaining in this first period, and there again, there's a turnover. Is this going to be the one? Oh, what a save by Nagase, as Bakke with as good a chance as we've seen in this first period.
Nice blocker save there for Nagase, and Norway right back on track after that power play expired, pinning the Japanese in the end, putting good pressure on them.
Difficult as they kind of are slow and steady, both teams really, and considered about how they want to come out of their own zone. Sometimes a little bit more speed and momentum behind it would at least allow you the chance to clear it out past your lines. Sometimes it's been very predictable as the plays they are going to make, and the other teams have been able to turn them over, and a couple chances created as a result. But across this line now, Takahashi looking to pursue it for the Japanese, but quickly to it is Varnes around, and Bakke will try and get to it. Is he going to get met hard here by Kumagai? Big collision there, and you can see that coming from 20 feet away. But nobody injured. The puck is still loose. They're still battling for it, but Kumagai really with no hold up as he comes right in there to meet Bakke head on.
Yeah, he definitely went no holds bar there, and Kumagai going off the ice. Not sure if he's injured or maybe broke a stick, but definitely a hard collision there.
And a battle continues inside this Norwegian zone. Patterson will just come in and tidy things up, as there's now 40 seconds remaining in his period. Wide side to Solberg. Can they get it back to Patterson? They do. This is trouble for Japan. Patterson from here can score. He's on the outside. A shot. He goes off the crossbar. They've gone the post and the crossbar now, and Norway are ringing the chimes and putting all sorts of pressure on that Japanese goal.
Just wonder how long they can hang on and rely on those crossbars to keep making those kind of saves.
This is dangerous. That's a great pass to be received across diagonally in the offensive zone. Kind of scooped and slung over there by Patterson and almost picked up by Solberg. Seconds counting down. It'll just stay inside the zone, but I think that's going to run out of time. That's a great shot even there from Jakobsen in the dying seconds of that first period. 7 shots to Norway, only 2 for the Japanese, scoreless after the first 15 minutes.
We take a look again. Just Bakke with hard pressure on Sudo created a turnover. Great blocker save by Nagase, but a point blank shot. And then Patterson coming down the right side just rips it off the crossbar. Had Nagase beat right over the head, just an inch too high.
It's all to play for in Buffalo at the World Championships as Norway and Japan, after the first period in the final match of the preliminary round, are tied scoreless. Come back and join us for the second period. There's lots more to come. The referees are ready, just waiting for the teams to return to the ice ahead of this second period of the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships from Buffalo, New York. And this is the Harbor Center ice. Seats about 1,800 people. And home to all sorts of development hockey here in the Buffalo area. Also Canisius College. And some great hockey we have seen this week at these World Championships, but we have no goals as of yet. 7-2 the shot advantage, though, for Norway.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a defensive game going on right now. Only 5 scoring chances for Norway, so they have had some chances. Actually, a couple have gone off the post and pretty even on the face-off. Neither team has capitalized on power play opportunities, but both teams still trying to figure each other out and not make a mistake.
The Japanese, well, they are still in this tournament. Great save by Nagase, but they are in a position, should they get a victory here today by 2 goals, to still as well have a chance to go through these semifinals. As we say, the majority of the pressure coming from Norway and a couple of turnovers as well. But Nagase has really been good in goal for the Japanese.
He's had some great saves, point blank from Patterson, from Clockegg, a couple of blocker saves, and again, the 2 posts helping him out tremendously. But Japan may be playing a little bit with fire here by allowing Norway to take so many shots and control the puck so much in their zone. They need to really get something going in the offensive zone and get some sustained pressure on the Norwegian defensemen.
And it's one of those interesting things, isn't it? It's that debate as to whether Norway have actually maybe relinquished or not entirely maximized some opportunities, or whether in fact it is just not long from now before the Japanese defense is breached and Norway is going to move forward. And that's maybe what people expected, and maybe that's still what people anticipate. But it is not necessarily the case. The Japanese, if they could score first here, what a different complexion that would bring to the remainder of this game.
Yeah, they've been doing well, but when you have a player on the ice like Rolf Patterson for Norway, things can change in such an instant that you can't take any chances. So they have to maintain the pressure and the physicality aspect of their game that they brought in the first period. They got to carry over into the second period here and now try to generate some offensive opportunities to add to it.
Patterson is the man who scored the goal when they were down 1-0 to the Czech Republic in their first match, and he made such a perfect play and kind of created, well, something not necessarily out of nothing, but it was a half opportunity, wasn't it? And the shot was so perfect, and he really helped put the team, Norway, on his back, and they rode that through to a 3-1 win. The seconds counting down as we get ourselves ready. Norway from right to left in red and the Japanese in white. It's still all to play for. All the marbles are still on the table as the puck is dropped. And what I mean by that is this preliminary match, the final one in the groups for both sides, will determine who is going to go through to the semifinal and have an opportunity to win a medal. So stay close and stay with us here as Norway try to work out of their zone. And it is the aforementioned Patterson who so often has the puck on his stick, but Norway unable to connect that pass intended for Clockegg. And a little disjointed, but that's part of also the Japanese structure through the neutral zone, forcing what was a little bit of an errant pass on that play.
Coach Espen Hedge of Norway telling his guys to just calm down, play their game, everything's okay, they're not losing. Japanese aren't, putting a lot of pressure on them right now, so just calm down and play their game and connect on those passes. Those are missed opportunities there.
And there you see Hedge chatting with his team, being very communicative, isn't he? And he knows how important it is, this first goal in his hockey game. And there'll be really a collective sigh that he won't admit openly, but I'm pretty confident is going on internally as the Japanese continue to ask questions, as they'll just try to come out of the corner. Look at this right here. Oh, it's over. And that almost is an opportunity to get on the board first right there.
Great save by Hamar there, and it looks like we're going to have a penalty on Norway.
And look at that as it goes by the near post, and a dangerous opportunity. And the Japanese 0 for 2 so far on the power play in this game, but look at how that, and it just changes directions, and that was the danger as Jakobsen goes to the penalty box.
Only 45 seconds into the period, but good work by Japan right now. And you see just after the shot here by Takahashi, Jakobsen just brings that right hand over and hits Takahashi in the head, and Referee calling it a high stick.
Look at Sudo. Sudo goes right across the face of goal. It bounces out to the blue line. It'll be kept in. It's a little bit loose though. And this will be wrapped around, and Norway do a good job. The first one to it should be the Norwegians as they race down the ice. And Martin Hamra is the first one at the scene, but Sudo will seal him off. Can he get to the puck? Not immediately. It's recovered and taken. Jorge will put it on a stick for Kumagai. Kumagai is going to get rolling here, but he's on his own. And quickly, Magnus Boga comes across and just squeezes him out.
Great play by Boga to step up and prevent the Japanese from being able to get an easy entry into the zone.
And that clearance goes right into the body of the Japanese forecheck. And again, they're obviously applying pressure. It's kept in. That's a calm, cool play there from the Japanese defense. It'll go back to Jorge, and they'll look here now. Out to Sudo. Can Sudo step in here, create some danger? It's a pretty good shot that they can't get a Japanese stick on it in front to change his direction late. And they'll come back now. They're inside. Oh my, that's just gone in an unbelievable situation. And Nagase, a little casual, just got burned. And it's something like that that is the difference in a game right here. The Norwegians score an unbelievable goal.
So heartbreaking here. Viernes just off the boards and down the ice to get it out of the zone so they could get a change in. And Nagase just totally misread that puck. He cannot believe it.
He tries to play the puck in motion, and he was trying to direct it before he had received it. And it is just that, it's just those small margins, isn't it? He takes his sight off of the actual puck for just a fraction of a second, and it's in the back of the goal. And Norway had threatened, hadn't they? You know, they had gone off the post, they'd gone off the crossbar, and you wondered whether or not they deserved a little bit of luck. And if there was ever a little bit of lady luck shining on them, it certainly was on that play there.
Yeah, that's the second shorthanded goal that Norway has scored in these World Championships, and that's just heartbreaking for the Japanese right there. They worked so hard to keep the game at par, and now they've got an uphill.
Patterson will play it off. Another shot here. Bakke trying to get it, and they'll go wide. And it is heartbreaking. You almost feel for the Japanese, but they've got to get themselves collected and back together. They've got to be mentally tough. The Norwegians right now sense blood, and they're looking to open this game open. Patterson is shot in. Nagase will see that one off, and it will be an unassisted goal at 2:01. Morten Viernes will get the goal for Norway. That has just opened, obviously, the scoring in this game, and is that the difference that will help the Norwegians push towards the semifinal place? You would think so. But the Japanese have hung around for a while. They hung around when they played the Italians too. Now they have 3 goals in which to score if they're going to do that. Look at Jakobsen coming out of that penalty box, and he is the stretch man. But they'll hang with it, and they have recovered. It looks as though their spirits are back again, the Japanese. But a 2-on-1. Patterson has the puck. He's on his own. He can score from here. He will, and he slams it, and himself and everything. And at the end of the day, Peterson makes a little bit of a hash of that one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't normally see Patterson hold on to the puck that long. He can pretty much shoot from anywhere inside the zone that he wants to with either hand. And so for him not to put that puck on the net, I'm a little bit surprised. I think maybe he wanted to go over to Klokeg, but the Japanese defender took Klokeg instead of Patterson, and he just kind of got jumbled up there for a minute.
I think you're right. I think he was thinking of all of his options and probably overthought the play. I really think he could have just come in and blasted it. But of course, it's easier said than done from this position. And maybe that's just obviously a statement about the power we have seen in the Patterson shot. And he is more than capable from that range. And sometimes, as we say, you try to be a little bit too perfect, and nothing comes from that opportunity. And then you think of the goal that actually goes in and a clearance from your own end. And it's just really incredible, isn't it, how chances get converted, and they don't ask how, they ask how many.
Exactly.
And good work is Solberg. Across the line, Japan trying to recover. And there's a play down to Patterson maybe here, but he is just shadowed out and pushed away. Chioa is in a position in which to get this up. Patterson, he'll collect it. And you anticipate that he just on his own is just going to grab the bull by the horns here for Norway and just control this game and maybe get a second here as they make a line change. And they are careful not to have too many players on the ice at one time. as Japan will work out, looking over the wrong shoulder, trying to get to it, but they will be the first ones on it in the neutral zone. And now forcing this Norwegian defense to go back, but Norway look more assured now, don't they? They look more comfortable as a result of that goal. And in many ways, it gives them confidence that a play like that, no doubt they think that the Japanese will struggle to mentally recover from that mistake. But this is an opportunity that will take them forward and in a position maybe to get another shot on goal, a quality chance. Solberg, and they will score. Right to left and past Nagase, and a different looking Norwegian shot on goal, and that 2-on-1 attempt.
I think maybe the Norwegians feel like they can take a little bit of a breath now. Solberg just chasing this loose puck down. Good job by Norway. You just put the puck in an area and let their fast forward do the work, and then a left-handed shot right under the glove of Nagase. Shows you the importance of being able to use both hands.
Great shot from Solberg as he goes from right to left, and in doing so, almost pulls Nagase across the face of goal and opens up that wide side. And you could just see Nagase starting to tip there as his glove hand was free, and it goes under the glove and into the far side. And a different looking game within 4.5 minutes of the second period. Norway have grabbed a 2-goal lead, and all of a sudden, they look as though they're in the driver's seat in this one.
Japan would have to score 4 goals now to be able to make that jump into the semifinal round. And without scoring a goal on the tournament thus far, it seems like a tall task.
And the second goal of this hockey game. And it is Solberg, the captain, assisted by number 9, Morten Vjarnes. And what a nice little 4.5 period spell for Morten Vjarnes. Not only a goal from his own end, but an assist to boot as well. And he's involved in both of these Norway goals here today as they push on and look to continue to extend their lead. And Sve will just go in here, and you would expect this should be quite an exercise and really seeing through a professional performance now from Norway.
Exactly, yeah, they'll definitely kind of slow things down, probably slow the pace of the game down a little bit, play a little bit more defensive, I would think.
It was a great pass, Kumagai gets bumped off the play by Klakeg, but it was just a great long outlet pass from behind their own goal line. It's just the good defensive play, in fairness to the Norwegians, just knocking him off the puck.
Klakeg playing a really strong defensive game this tournament. He actually had to take a couple of seasons off to finish up school and whatnot, but he's come back with a little bit of a vengeance, and I think Norway's relied on him a little bit back there to settle things down as they have moved Patterson back up.
This is an opportunity. He definitely has been a calming influence on the blue line, and a physical influence too, and I think he's been in many ways the last line of defense for Norway at times. Even there, just circling and corralling that puck and making certain that it's deep before he makes a line change and allows 2 new defenders on the ice.
We're talking about the performance of Morten Vjarnes this game specifically, and he's one of the better guys in the sled hockey world. I've played against him my whole career, going back to 2004, and just a real nice guy on and off the ice, and it's good to see him still making an impact.
Some great work in this corner here, and yes, you're right, the inside of Taylor Lipset, twice a world champion himself at Pool A level for USA men's ice sledge hockey team, and twice a gold medal Paralympian as well. And we are getting all sorts of insight into the sport as it kind of takes its next level of interest and equally of exposure here now across the world as a result of these world championships and those Paralympic games. Is looking to build here, Nagase with another save, and just reflecting back to those Paralympic games in Sochi and that final against the Russians, Team USA as well. Really instrumental in seeing the sport through to another level.
Take a look here at this last play. Solberg with another chance to add another tally to the board, but Nagase just getting over just in time. And yeah, you mentioned the exposure and the coverage of the Sochi Paralympics last year, and just in 1 year we've seen such a tremendous increase in the amount of coverage of ice sledge hockey alone.
Great work by Norway the way they've started the second period. They've got 2 goals on the board. They look to be in control, but more to come. Japan heading back to their own zone to prepare for this face-off. And a Norwegian side that's rejuvenated after not quite 7 minutes gone in this second period. They've been able to tally 2 goals, and one of the most peculiar that they will score in at any tournament, really, as they were on the penalty kill and played it all the way from their own end on the ice. And really quite a simple stop to have made, really, but there was an attempt by Nagase, the Japanese goalie, to play it all in the same motion as stopping it, and he didn't quite get it, and it ended up back of the net. But they will push it in now, Japan. They'll go on the forecheck, and really it's the first time pursuing the puck in the offensive zone, really since relinquishing those 2 goals.
Yeah, it was really a backbreaker for the Japanese. They had done a good job of keeping pace with the Norwegians and even a few chances and creating some pressure, but yeah, those 2 goals definitely hurt.
Bogla will just take it down this left wing. This is good work from Norway. Bogla particularly just making sure just to hold on to the puck. Do not give it up cheaply. That's a great shot, and it has all sorts of force. Not a whole lot of accuracy on it as we are past the halfway point in this hockey game. And just waiting for players to tag up, and they will go across the line again. And it goes off of the Japanese defender. Shiba will get moving forward, but he has all sorts of Norwegian defense in which to navigate, and he elects just to dump it in. And Jakobsen will just reverse it, and they will be back in numbers right now, Norway. That'll be the exact mode of operation you should expect now from this Norwegian side. They won't take any chances, and if they get an opportunity to go forward, they'll take it, but not at the risk of playing good defense.
Bogla here with a good chance. He's created for himself.
And Nagase is equal to this one, and good to see him respond. Such an outstanding first period, and I guess difficult to overlook the misfortune of the first goal conceded in this second. As you watch here again, the play coming in, Bogla having a good shift, but Nagase getting that paddle down, important to make certain, and he then seals it with the glove for this face-off in the defensive zone. Patterson on his own, and a real ambitious attempt to get that puck across into position. Odenbake will take it. There are the scoring chances, 9-0 for Norway. They have converted on 2 of them, as they'll just relay this puck back around again and going in the wrong direction right now. Japan trying to break out, but it ends up being a play that's just kept in, and it's not. The official blowing that it's offside. Japan going back with as much speed as they should have been going forward, looking a little bit, well, in disarray and just trying to find their structure again.
Yeah, they've got to feel a little deflated here. You know, they knew what was at stake coming into this game, and for that first goal to go in and, you know, create an even tougher situation for themselves, and then the second one, it can't be a good feeling.
They've got to get refocused, and they are not done yet. And yes, it would be a tall order for a team that has, in fact, not scored a goal in this tournament thus far, but it is not over yet. And with 6:25 now remaining in this tournament, potentially for them as far as competing for a medal, they've just got to stay focused, and they've got to maximize any opportunity they do get. Nagase will set it up for Takahashi. He'll go back in this goal, and he'll play it out. Some good work here from Kumagai. He just kind of takes it in tight, and is a streamlined approach, but he's not really sure where the puck had gone to. He still had it, just didn't have it out wide. It was under his sled. And so difficult, I'm sure, to feel the puck on the skates underneath you to really get a sense as to where it is sometimes.
Yeah, it's easy to get it lost underneath, and one of the tricky things to kind of learn and teach yourself is how to be able to skate and feel the puck on your stick and skate with it without looking at it. That way you don't always lose it underneath your sled like that. But again, one of those skills that takes a long time and a lot of practice to develop, and a lot of players can't do it.
Shiba to battle for this one. Varnas, the first goal scorer of this hockey game. He has another shot in, and that one's got even a little bit more pace on it, but the blocker down from Nagase. He makes certain that that one is still live inside his own zone. They'll work, though, but look at the Norwegians now. They look more and more confident. In a great position here. Bogla! There's a good save from Nagase. He just puts the body right on it. And as they say in hockey, he's got a quick chest as Bogla hits it right in the chest. Good positioning, though, from Nagase to prevent the good angled shot or any clear openings, as they'll battle the Japanese just to try to congest the opportunities for Norway as they're trying to develop with more speed, a little bit more energy naturally. The Japanese have to be getting a little bit more tired as this tournament goes on. They play 3 matches in 4 days, and it is a real tall order for all of these teams, particularly those that aren't playing as many hockey games.
Exactly. We see good work here from Norway, getting the puck out of the corner to Bogla and just right, like you said, in the chest of Nagase. But Norway's young line there with Hemre, Bogla, and Sorheim doing a good job of, containing the Japanese in their own zone.
Norway still with the 2-goal advantage, 5:10 remaining in the second period. Japan get themselves collected, watered, hydrated, and returned to their defensive zone for another key face-off. Instructions coming in from their coach, Kojin Nakakita. They would love to just keep the score line as it is currently and maybe go get themselves a goal. Look at the shots on goal in this period. It's 1 though by Norway. They try to get a first shot, a second one, it goes wide. And Norway right now smell it. They smell a third potentially on the cards as they'll just keep possession. They are so quick to get that puck back though. And they'll let that one go around behind the net, and immediately Solberg in to play the body on Sudo. We haven't seen a lot of Sudo, have we? To the same degree that we've seen him in the tournament thus far. And no doubt he has to be getting tired, but he's such a calm head back there. Good work, though, on the Norwegian blue line, offensive blue line. They try to get it into position. There's a penalty now coming up, and it's going to go against Japan. And Norway now with an opportunity on the power play to further increase this lead.
Looks like the referee's calling a hook. You don't really see that a whole lot in sled hockey just because the sticks don't have that much of a curve on them to be able to get a good handle on an opposing player. But let's take a look here and see what he called. Oh, it's more with the hand. So he just grabbed onto that free arm of the Norwegian player and pulled him around. And yeah, definitely a hook or holding call there.
As you say, the longer shafts, though, probably in stand-up hockey are so much more advantageous to be either creating the hook or getting the stick in there. These short sticks, if you're that close, you might as well grab him by the arm. It's exactly what he did. Is Norstoga now with the puck, a shot there, and it is out of play. And we're wondering for a second just where that got to, and then you see the puck off into the corner, but quickly up and out of play.
Good shot from Norstoga, just taking his time to line it up and being patient, and a great blocker save by Nagase.
It is a great save, important for him, and good to see such an outstanding first period, and you don't want to see that type of effort entirely sort of overshadowed by what's happened here with the first goal and a second one. Good battle, though, from Norway in front. Nagase able to stay with it. It's still alive. Bogla. How does that go through two different players? They were expecting maybe a better shot, but Nagase laying down and preventing a third goal for the moment. Another one. Varnes will have to turn around and recollect this puck. Some good pressure immediately from Norway on his power play. Norstoga has been in this position before. He'll shoot from there. Look at that save, and one more time, the blocker is at the ready from Nagase, and he kicks it out of play.
Looks similar to the other shot from Norstoga, but again, just trying to pick the top corner on the blocker height side. That's the most vulnerable place for a sledge hockey goaltender. You can see here the shot that came in just wide of the post, and then it comes right back through the same hole there, and Bogla couldn't put it in. But good pressure from the Norwegians on this power play here, and they'll send their #1 unit out to try to finish it off.
Good to see Nagase still with the inspired play in goal. Coming back, and a couple of great key saves in that shift. Jacobson is blocked. Shiba has to get himself back upright again and prepared for this possession. Klakeg will roll into a good area. He is met, though, from behind by Shiba. Shiba does a great job to disrupt his advantage. Now they'll have a little look from this, and you thought maybe Klakeg would take a shot from there, but it goes back to Jacobson, and now Patterson will control things as he'll look to see how he wants to attack this Japanese quartet in front of Nagase. Nobody there. They go back and immediately retreat, though. And Patterson in a good defensive position. He'll race when he wants to get ahead of Sheba, and he'll get there first and come around. He's got a man to pass it to, but if he wants to skate it himself, he can. He'll still keep going. He sees some room now. He's going to take his own natural momentum. He's going to carry it forward. He's got Pseudo in a prone position. He can shoot from there, and he does. He scores, and Patterson shows you what he's all about. He snipped it from his own blue line. There was a sense to get a lane. He found the lane, and he finished it.
That's the Patterson I played against my whole career. He used to take it end to end every chance he got from behind his own net all the way down the ice, just weaving in and out of the Japanese players. You see him, it pretty much just opened up for him until the last second when Pseudo tried to kind of fall over on him, and he just found the hole there between Nagase and the post.
It was that last little bit where he forced Pseudo to look over the other shoulder that gave him just enough of an angle to be able to find it on his right hand, his preferred shooting hand, and then room through Nagase in goal. But everything he had done was really reliant upon that ability to get Pseudo to believe he was maybe going to cut to the inside.
Exactly, and just a great play by a great player. And like I said, I had to deal with that my whole career.
And it's an unassisted goal as we saw it develop from behind his own net. Outstanding at 2:01 and a real beauty. As you see, and he is, in fact, as you mentioned, a world-class player. Unassisted, his second of the tournament to Patterson. And they'll work right to the end. The Japanese trying to get some possession in the offensive zone. And they're coming again, Norway. Any chance you'll give them, it's going to be an offside delayed. They'll re-tag up and get to the blue line. And Pseudo going to collect on the momentum here and take it and follow this play through the neutral zone and just get it in the offensive zone and try to get a little bit more activity in this Norwegian third of the ice as they'll go back and collect it. And you get a sense after a couple of these goals, particularly the first one and then that one right now, that Japan may in fact be out of gas.
Yeah, they just don't look like they have the same amount of energy and enthusiasm as they did against the Italians in game number 2. They played the Italians really hard, but just not able to get anything going against the Norwegians here tonight. And unfortunately, the Norwegians have capitalized on a few mistakes.
Just offside as 1:20 remain in the second period. Norway in good control of this one as they have a goal in the second period from Varnes from defense. And then they have a third one here as well to the goal that was scored by Solberg. The second and the third one, though, really the dagger in the hopes of the Japanese. And just scored unassisted from Patterson as he makes a coast-to-coast play. The coast-to-coast with the most, as Patterson, world-class, shows us what he's all about.
Patterson, not just a world-class sledge hockey athlete, but he also has a Paralympic gold medal in cross-country skiing from the early mid-90s. So an all-around athlete.
It's interesting how many of these athletes, particularly in the winter sports, have had an opportunity to play other sports. But you mentioned about Brad Bowden from Canada, who actually has a medal as well as the wheelchair basketball player. Oddball in a position here. Is it going to squeeze through? Nagase, he holds on, and he's able to, and he's not entirely sure where it is, but he did well enough to keep it out in front of his goal line.
Yeah, Brad Bowden, if I'm not mistaken, he's the only Canadian Paralympian to have a gold medal in both the summer and winter games. So definitely a huge honor and just tells you what kind of athlete he really is.
Good work from Norway to continue to mount the pressure. They would love to score a few more if the Japanese would oblige. They haven't necessarily just rolled over, have they, the Japanese? But as we say, they're looking a little tired, and they're going to need to be mentally strong to see this game across the line in a way that they would like to finish this tournament, at least competing for the opportunity to win a medal in this preliminary round. Norway, though, trying to win it. They do not, and they get it back. Solberg makes a win really out of nothing. And again, Nagase right now, maybe making a little bit of a meal of that shot. You sense that there's possibly another goal in it, maybe before the end of the second period, as Norway are going close.
With as good as Norway is off the face-off here, there's definitely time, plenty of time for a couple more shots if they can gain control right off the face-off. Again, Patterson over 60% in the tournament so far.
And he's on the face-off again, and how key he is for this team to win possession, to keep it in at the blue line, to really reassess their options on the power play, to go all the way back behind his own goal. You name it. What is required from Norway, it generally is directed by Patterson, or he's had a part to play in it. There's a good shot, though, and that's a dangerous save just to have the glove down on the ice to make it without the stick or the body behind it.
A little casual there from Hamar, but fortunate for him, it worked out. And it looks like the period is going to expire with the 3-0 score in favor of the Norwegians.
Jakobsen from a distance, maybe looking for a fourth. And Hori, and he almost shoots it. He tries to go behind his own goal, but just tests Nagase one last time just for good measure as the seconds do finally tick out on the first 30 minutes played in this one. And this is the final preliminary match in game day 3. Day number 4 of these World Championships. Patterson has helped this side into a very strong position, and they'll go into the second intermission of these 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships over Japan. Norway are sitting pretty, you might say, with a 3-0 lead. Don't go anywhere. We want to see this right across the line, and the Japanese may still have a little bit of a surprise in store for us. Welcome back to the 2015 IPC Ice Sledge Hockey World Championships, and we're just ahead of the third period of Group A, final match in the preliminary round. And ahead of this game, Japan, with a victory by 2 goals or more, could have been able to go through the semifinals, but that second period, Taylor, all of a sudden starts to tell a little bit of a story, and Norway break through.
Yeah, about 5 minutes into that second period, Norway really started to take over. You see there 23-3 shots and 14 scoring chances to 0. Face-offs even, but Japan just doesn't have anything to really combat that Norwegian offense.
And we look back on that period. This was the real backbreaker because it's a clearing play on a penalty kill. And Nagase, in one motion, was really trying to make that save and also direct his team back in the power play, wasn't he?
Exactly. He just played the puck before it was there and then opened up a hole, and then Solberg comes down the left side and puts it right under the glove, and that was really the backbreaker there, putting him down 2 goals. And then we see the old Rolf Einar Patterson.
Winding back the years.
Yep, his old form. This is what he used to do to every team he played. Just coast to coast, found a spot and put it in.
And he almost looked around there like he was surprised that it went in himself, but maybe not surprisingly, there is a new goaltender in net now for Japan as we look back on the 3 goals in that second period. And not necessarily because Nagase's had such a difficult night. Obviously the goal that was let in the first one, a backbreaker, but an opportunity for some other experience to be gathered at this level. And this is what the coach has decided he wants to do. And Mochizuki is now in the goal, and an opportunity for Japan to kind of get rejuvenated a little bit and really focus on this remaining 15 minutes and try to build forward from here and take advantage of really what might effectively be in competitive play the last time they're in the A pool at World Championship level, and for who knows how long.
Yeah, at least a couple of years, because they'll be relegated down to the B pool after this tournament, and the next opportunity for them to play their way back up won't be for another 2 years. And that's a long time in sledge hockey. We only play, 10 to 15 games a year, so not a lot of opportunity to, compete. So it's definitely going to be hard to swallow for the Japanese, but they've been there before. They've worked their way back up, so it can be done, but they definitely need to try to do something positive here just to take something good away.
Of course, and as they look back, and as every program will do at the World Championship level, they're under review and obviously reflecting, and for the coaching staff and all the personnel, decisions are made based on how you want to finish your last game and the direction of the program. And whilst this is one tournament, it is a reflection, and also you want to make sure you leave here on as good a footing as possible, as the Japanese will try and get collection of this puck immediately off the face-off. And good to see Hore putting a forecheck on. Yoshikawa now coming in, but here is Patterson. Has he got to play up the middle? No, he doesn't. The angle's been lost, but he could, as he's just looking to have a little bit of fun. And this almost looks a little bit like playground stuff now for Patterson.
Yeah, he's just going to probably take over this third period and be smart with the puck. He knows that they don't need any more goals, but he also doesn't want to give the Japanese any sniff here. So he'll just be calm and collected back there and control the pace of this third period.
Good work. They'll get it back. Mochizuki in goal. Now, number 30 for Japan. And potentially an injury on the play. The shot blocked, and that was Yoshikawa. And it looks as though he's looking to take his helmet off because he's needing just to see whether or not that shot caught him and whether or not he's maybe been cut on the play, but he takes it, and I'm not sure. He looked as though he was wondering whether he got it up in the head area. And we look at just on the shoulder. He seems to be fine. Maybe probably more stunned than anything, isn't he? And he's up and getting himself now off the ice. And a face-off will be inside of the Japanese zone.
Going back to talk about a little bit about how to reassess the program for Japan and maybe the Germans as well, and how to kind of turn things around is it really starts with the youth. It starts with building up youth programs around the country and developing players from a young age.
Good shot, and that just nearly goes in as the change of direction late in front there is Mauru. And he maybe did more harm in front of goal than he did good. As watch this here as Norstoga waits and waits and waits, getting it into a position where danger can happen and mistakes can happen. But going back to your point, it is about the future, and you need to almost develop from the ground up.
That's exactly right. When I first started sledge hockey back,
it's in. And a heartbreaking goal as it's come from the blue line. And we'll just wait again. We were surprised a little bit by the shot and the effort made. And I think that goal is going to go to, we'll see, I think it's Rivera who's going to get credit. Watch it again here. And Varnes has the puck. It just gets off his stick, but Rivera comes in, and you get it on net, and good things happen. That's a prime example.
You just see the puck kind of drop at the last second. It goes right under the outstretched arm of the goalie there, Machizuki. An unfortunate goal for him to give up, but I believe that's Rivera's first goal ever. You could see how excited he was when it went in, so good for him getting his first goal at a World Championships.
And you can see the way his teammates celebrated with him that it probably was his first goal ever, because there seemed to be an extended congratulations going on there, considering it's the fourth goal of a game that they are definitely in charge of. And I hope he got the puck, because that's an important souvenir for any player, is getting the puck and the trainer taping over it and saying first goal, putting a date on it, and maybe even Buffalo, New York as well at these World Championships, as Japan will now just lay it off. Takahashi out front. Good work here. This is good from Japan. You'd like to see them score because they have been in and around it, and they have been competitive. And although they are still waiting to get that goal in this tournament, why not now?
They deserve a goal, without a doubt, and they've worked hard, and they hung in a couple of games for a long time and a couple of unfortunate bounces. But yeah, like you said, it'd be nice to see him score a goal and not go home completely, empty-handed here.
So to reflect on the goal, it is going to go to Rivera, and the assist on the play, Morten Varnes. Now it's his third point in this hockey game, as Takahashi just trying to keep this puck alive. And another assist as well goes to Avdal. And that is at 1:16, the fourth goal of the game for Norway. And a shot from the blue line. And if he could pitch that, he'd be in the major leagues, because that had some serious drop shot on it.
I could have used that when I threw out the first pitch at a baseball game recently.
Right in the dirt, and the catcher's got to come up trumps to pull it out. As it is now Sudo trying to pull it out from behind his own goal. And they'll work their way now forward, the Japanese, a little between the legger, and try to find a way out in the neutral zone. A little bit of trickery is maybe on the cards now, as both teams are probably quite aware of how this is going to finish as far as points in the standings will go. But maybe, as we said, a little bit more fun, a little bit more real pure love of the game, hopefully coming up here from both sides. This is Baquet in. Is he going to take a whistle? Is he going to take a shot? And he does. And you thought that might go right in the glove, but some good work there, knocking it around. Mochizuki keeps that one out.
Yeah, going back to the standings, if the score stands, which most likely it will with just 11.5 minutes left, Norway is going to be matched up with United States in the semifinal game. And those two teams that played in the semifinals before actually played Norway in the semifinals at the 2006 Paralympic Games, and they beat us and sent us to the bronze medal game, and they went on to claim a silver medal there. But U.S. versus Norway most likely in the semifinal, and it's going to be Canada and Russia on the other side.
It's one of those questions. Be careful what you wish for, as you never really know by the time you get to the semifinal, because there'll be a day off where both teams will regroup and no doubt obviously rejuvenate themselves with rest and food and water, but also probably reformulate a plan and even a little bit of structural or tactical differences as teams get into that one-off opportunity to put yourself into what is effectively a gold medal game.
It should be a great semifinal round. The Russians and Canadians have played each other a few times this year, and the Russians have actually beaten the Canadians this season. Norway and the U.S. have not faced off this year yet, so it will be a good game between them.
And that's where it sits. It's 4-0 at the moment for Norway. They continue, and we got a new Japanese goalie in the nets. He's doing his best, Mochizuki. And we'll be right back after the break. The Japanese return to position, get ready. This was an opportunity, though, coming straight in, Takahashi, and he gets hit hard, but it leaves an opportunity in front. And watch it again, Takahashi takes the hit to make a play, and that's a good one for Kumagai. And a second effort, too, as well, as Jakobsen will take this shot, and it goes up and over the net again. And a glove save was going to be in order there, but it goes wide of the goal. And Japan working to try and get possession and try to make a way to make a passing play out of their own zone.
The Japanese have a lot of pride in wearing that jersey and their flag, and so there's not going to be any give up in them. They're a very proud culture, and you're not going to see them just turn over and let this game go by the wayside. They're going to keep trying, and they know they haven't scored a goal, and they're going to do everything they can to put one in the back of the net.
And they make a clearance all the way down the ice. It'll be a face-off in their own zone as a result of the icing, and it's a very fair point. Is that going to allow them to score a goal? As we have said, it'd be great to see, but you're only really going to get at this level what you earn and what you deserve. And the Norwegians are, without a doubt, going to do their best to keep a clean sheet. They want that for defensive confidence. They'd love another goal or two for offensive confidence, but you certainly as well, you want to make sure that you're strong as they get ready for the semifinal matchup now. And there is going to be a face-off, or a whistle, my apologies, and it's going to be a penalty against the Norwegians. I think on the face-off, there was an interference call.
Another one of those forwards trying to block out the defenseman right off the face-off, and a little too obvious for the referee's liking, and going to be a penalty, and the face-off's going to come all the way down into the defensive zone of the Norwegians.
And there's Hedge, the coach of Norway, just kind of shaking his head, and maybe more than anything, you want to sort of really execute everything with purpose and not to get penalized, and certainly there's a game plan to it. You can see how Hedge is still wanting his team to be focused on all the little things, and to take a penalty like that, maybe a little frustrated, particularly if it allows Japan to get on the board. They'll feel better if they don't concede, as Japan now are continuing just to possess the puck and just a little bit slow in the build-up now to prepare for how they'd like to attack this man advantage opportunity. They'll get it back, and Sudo just letting a little bit of a roll there. Takahashi, good work by Kumagai to turn up and to get ready to make a play. And here we go. Jakobsen is all alone. He's going to go, and he's as good a chance to score as you're going to want to have, and he doesn't. And that's either an outstanding save or a really poor finish.
I think he was just a little bit too casual on the finish there. He thought he had the Japanese goalie beat down low and just tried to slide it in on the ice. When you have those chances, you just bury it. You try to put it through the back of the net.
And I think that was a prime example of a player just trying to get it across the goal line rather than, as you say, putting it right through the back of the net, because he was in prime position to put a fifth goal on the board for Norway on this penalty kill.
Speaking of Jakobsen, it's good to see him back. He sustained a pretty bad injury back in 2011 in a game against the United States where he actually injured his back. And
off the bar again, and a ricochet back through the crease. And I'm not even sure if Mochizuki knows where it is right now.
I think he might have done a 360 looking for that one, but there again, that goal has been kind to the Japanese. That's the third post of the game off of that goal.
And they have used every inch of that goal in which to defend the shots today.
Exactly, but we take a look back here for the Norwegians. Jakobsen's breakaway took it from his own end all the way down. We'll see if he was just a little bit too casual here. The fake.
Oh, it is a toe save.
It's a good save. It's a good save.
It is. It's an outstanding save. And then this one just off the bar, just for good measure. And I think Jakobsen was looking to Patterson whether or not he'd want to drop it to him, but he did give it the shimmy and the shake and went around and got denied.
It was a good attempt and a good save by Mochizuki down there. And again, Clockegg, that was actually his second post of the game.
This could be a chance for Japan to score. I think there's an injury off the play here. Norstoga, I think, is in trouble behind the net and can't get himself going. Japan, though, with possession, the referee allowing it to play. Oh, I thought they were going to have a chance on the open side. Norstoga looks like he's going to get back into play, and good for him. He stays with it. Masawa from a distance, a deflection maybe, and then he's still reaching. It's still alive. The ref's going to allow us to continue. Sudo, does he have a chance here now? Oh, going down. That's a great play to block it and come across. Martin Hamra laying down a chance, a tip, and this is great work from Japan, and they're showing some fun, and I'm hearing a little bit of hooting and hollering on the ice. They're having fun here right now.
Yeah, where was that the whole game? You know, where's that enthusiasm and excitement during the first two periods, 2.5? That was some great action from the Japanese. A couple tips in front, some cycling down low.
And Norstoga, I think Norstoga really, as we were saying, he was struggling behind. He was like a fallen soldier in behind that Norwegian goal. He couldn't get up. And the referee was keeping a watchful eye on him, allowing play to continue to give Japan the advantage. And then he just stuck with it, didn't he? And he was just making sure that he could see the play through, came back out in front. And then you see, but watch it again, I think he just goes hard into the goal himself, and he just jams himself. You see him going after that left leg there, whether or not he jams his knee.
I think he might have stabbed himself in the leg there. He had one hand kind of on top of his lap, and then the blade end of his bucket went right into the boards, and it might have just, the momentum carried down, and he might have stabbed himself or jammed his back a little. I'm not sure. Hopefully he's all right. He's had a pretty decent game here tonight.
He's been very strong and dependable for the Norwegians on the blue line, and I think more than anything, he jarred himself, and you just kind of see by that exhale there that it's probably just sort of stunning himself, and whether or not he has jammed something, but he's looking to kind of stretch his back, and wouldn't be surprised if he did, in fact, kind of jam his back in the play. Kind of a wrenching check, as it would be as you go into the speed into the boards, and as you say, no give on those boards, and you're going at a pretty good clip.
Exactly. Yeah, and in stand-up hockey, when they check each other and hit the glass is made to give a little bit to absorb some of that energy. And then, like you just mentioned, when you slam into the boards down there, it's like hitting a concrete wall. So there's no give. Your body has to take all the impact, and sometimes it's not so, it doesn't feel so good. Let's say that.
Well, it's often like players when they make collisions and neither one falls, and everybody thinks, well, that's a real tough stance, but how much sort of momentum goes internally into the body, and that's where injuries happen, as opposed to breaking the fall with somebody falling down. And there's a penalty, though, coming on the play, and it's going to be against the Japanese as the Norwegians are in possession, and the referee still with his arm up. It's lofted into an area. Solberg getting onto a 2-on-1, maybe a cross here. There's a man in front. I think that the Japanese will get a chance to touch it first, though, before there's any further advancement. And then there is the whistle being blown. And Norway 1 for 2 on the power play opportunities thus far. And they've just had the 2 shots in those situations. But we go back to their latest opportunity. And I'd love to see whether or not Mochizuki has another save or two like we saw him make against Jakobsen, as this is the effort that has led to the Japanese penalty to be taken, and the opportunity in store as Shioa will go in the box number 40 for 2 minutes or less, as Patterson back out, and he will be the man to take this face-off.
You see Espen Hedge going with his top line here. He knows that it's going to be a tall task against the Americans in the next round, and he wants to have his guys rolling here and get some flow and chemistry going, so he's not holding back.
Jakobsen with a left hand released in the center of the ice, stepping in off that right defense position. Patterson now controlling it back to Jakobsen again. Jakobsen wants another crack at scoring. Sure he does. I mean, he was in as good a position as he's going to be as a defender, who generally spends the majority of his time at the offensive blue line or in his own defensive zone. He was home free from his own blue line on a breakaway, short-handed, and he made a pretty good move in fairness, but even better was the save.
Yeah, he might be having nightmares about that one tonight. His roommate's going to have to calm him down when he wakes up in the sweats.
Going to need to have a cold bucket of ice to dump over him, because he might get overheated thinking about the opportunity that went amiss. But here he is now, Jakobsen, to play it down in the corner in a good position for Odenbake to recover. And Solberg, who's been a goal scorer today as well for Norway, he's there, he's waiting, he's looking to see what his best option is. And it's a very wide structure right now for Norway. The rotation is good from Solberg to come around and to switch hands off of that right wing to the left-hand side again.
He's going to go back to where he started. He did a complete circle, got a shot, went and picked up his own rebound, and Norwegians being very patient here, not trying to force anything. Just going about their business, trying to work the puck. Like I said, they know they're preparing for the Americans, and
good shot there, and a better save from Mochizuki to take that away from Patterson, and then coming off of that left wing. That right-hand shot is across and at a tight angle, but a good enough angle in order to put it in the goal as well. It's an important save and a good one, a confidence booster for the Japanese defense.
Yeah, this is actually the third different Japanese goalie that we've seen. Nagase started the first and the third games, and in that second game, or in the first game, we saw Fukushima come in relief of Nagase, and now we've got Mochizuki, and they've all three shown, you know, glimpses of brilliance, but just not enough in front of them to really.
Here it is, a chance to go up, and it's in. And a goal to be recorded, and we have seen him score earlier in the tournament, Sorheim. Sorheim took a one-time shot. If we remember earlier in the tournament, that was really something special, as there's quite a celebration going on here right now after this goal, but Sorheim had enough time really to have a coffee as he came out, and my apologies, this is Bogla. And Bogla gets blocked, but then Sorheim, who then gets the rebound, and we thought we were correct at first sight, as Sorheim was the man to get it. And he just kind of waits and just fires it as hard as he can, really, and forces it past the Japanese goaltender.
Espen Hedge has to be happy with his youngster line there. Sorheim, Bogla, and Hamra doing good work tonight. They've shown good poise, and they played well in the offensive and defensive zone, and Norway's going to have that line and their number one line both performing in tip-top shape come Friday night against the Americans.
And it's a power play goal. Long distance coming in. That's a good shot. And it's Mauru who sends that in. And body contact to follow as well, as they'll just weave and wind their way out of the zone. And a battle here on the near side by the penalty box. And twisting and turning, trying to find the puck again to keep this Norwegian machine moving forward. It's a power play goal. It will go to Sorheim. He assists on the play to Magnus Bogla, and to number 20, as you mentioned, Martin Hamra. So you say that youth line is getting the job done, and they do it on the power play. So a great conversion there. 9:22 of this third period. It's the 5th goal of the game, and a real confidence booster, getting these goals spread across a balance in this Norwegian lineup.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And not just the lineup, but in all phases of their game. They've got a shorthanded goal, a power play goal, and an even strength goal tonight. So that's a good sign for the Norwegians. Each phase of their game is producing, and they haven't given up a goal. So Espen Hedge is going to be a happy camper going back to the hotel tonight.
Jorge in there. It's up, it's wide. It had some pretty good pace on it. And powerful, though, doesn't mean anything without control. You got to get the shots on the net, and they are in and around it. They haven't given up yet, the Japanese. Still fancy that they might find a way to score, but we will wait that, as on a break and elected to just dump it in and make certain that it is in. Rivera, who's also on the board and scored today for Norway. And they'll go back and try and dig it out and find another route up this ice through what is a very difficult structure defensively. This Norwegian team is aligned in the middle of the ice, forcing everything wide. And they've got the puck back on their stick again. It's Solberg behind his own goal. And he'll work it up. And good hit by Kumagai, but not before it was out of their own zone.
The Japanese still not giving up, but the Norwegians just a little too much. The puck control game is still going on, and another on the outside of the post there. Jacobson just shooting it in from right above the circle.
Good work here. They continue. That's good body contact to lean into it at first. And that was Masawa making sure that he's prepared for the hit coming in. They'll go back, and Sudo just laying it out into an area. And right now, oh my, that was lowering the boom. And I'm not sure the Japanese player knows exactly what rinks he's in, let alone what town he's in. That was a big hit, as that was Takahashi, who was just taken out.
Now I want to give props to the referee for not calling that a penalty. That was 100% clean, shoulder to shoulder. But a lot of times you'll see referees call penalties on hits like that because they are so hard. But that was a good hit, shoulder to shoulder, and Takahashi just took the brunt of it.
Oh, and this time he won't, though. That's another big hit coming in, and is that Patterson?
No, that's Jakobsen again on Takahashi, the same exact spot.
And he might be giving him misconduct here. I don't think the referee is happy to hear a whole lot of talk back, and never are referees, and nor in this situation would he be, as Jakobsen is discussing the call and showing a little bit of frustration. But they got away with one where they really gave it to Takahashi, but not on the second one, particularly as the hands were extended.
Let's see if his hands got up maybe this second time. I didn't see much.
Yeah, and maybe, you know what, it was the hands. I mean, as much as he didn't actually come up in the head area, it was maybe the hands coming away from the body, but possibly the referee, as you were saying, you congratulated him for not making the call. He maybe felt a little bit that there was so much velocity and so much aggression in that hit that maybe it deserved a call, and sometimes that's what happens, isn't it? There's, you know, the referee thinks. But let's go back and watch that first hit because it was a beauty. Bo.
Shoulder to shoulder, perfect hit.
Right on the numbers.
I'm just not sure Takahashi ever left that spot between the first and the second hit, and maybe that's why the referee felt a little bad for him and went ahead and made that second call.
Well, he's got his chin strap done. He gets up and looks for the license plate of that car that just ran over him, and then he's still there in the parking lot, and the guy does a second job on him.
Poor fella.
My goodness, this Japanese power play is coming out. They're 0 for 4, 2 shots on it. Have they got a goal? That's my question, Taylor Lipset.
I hope so. Sudo can shoot from the point. Takahashi can take a rip at it. And we've even seen Hirose have a couple good rips on net today.
He went into those boards like he wasn't slowing down. He was doing a 50-yard dash and a 40-yard gym.
Yeah, he's a hockey player, so I knew he'd be back out on the ice. That's just how us hockey players are, right?
It is. And, quickly here, the Japanese recover, and they are tough and resilient and still coming forward. One last wave with 1:30 to go. There's another huge hit, and that was a beauty, Claque. Give him credit, and let's call a spade a spade. That was a hammering hit into the boards.
Another good no call by the referee, shoulder to shoulder there, and a lot of times these hits sound a lot worse than they really are because you do have the sticks, you know, hitting the boards along with the body and the sled. So you've got more pieces of equipment all hitting the boards at the same time that you don't see or hear in able body hockey. So like I said, sometimes it seems a lot worse than it really is, but no doubt about it, that was a hard hit.
It was, and down it will go, and an effort by the Norwegians. Look at this Solberg. Solberg is flying. He's taken away the route. He's caused the turnover right in front of goal. And Solberg was really moving to get into a position to close down that central angle to make that cross-ice pass. Norway still looking to put pressure on late in this game. See if they can't grab a 6th spot. Have they got 6 bullets in their chamber? They're looking, and it'll go out. Maybe one here for Japan. They've got enough time. They're racing to get into position. A long shot. This is a good play. Maybe just getting it, and it's just out of the reach. And forcing Jorge to come back, and there is a Norwegian tea party, and it is around the puck. They are not letting anybody get close to their goal. They will just take it against the boards, and they will smother the scoreline if given the option. Maybe a late arriver there trying to crash the party, and that is it. And a great response from Norway after a scoreless first period to stick with it and to find a way to get what was an impressive result in the end.
No doubt about it. They had a job to do, and Espen Hedge rallied his troops in between the first and second period, got them on track, and they came out and took care of business, and they're on their way to the semifinals.
And Espen Hedge almost maybe looking a little emotional there on the bench. And he, as you say, now in charge of this Norwegian program that had to have a little bit of a look at itself as it prepared to move into this World Championship cycle after the Paralympics last year in Sochi. And a team, really, Norway, as much as a sport was created in Sweden in the 60s, and Norway and Sweden, big pioneers in this sport. And Norway also heavily successful in the sport to take out what some people might think are the new big boys in the block, the Canadians and the Americans and maybe the Russians, but the Norwegians have a lot of pride in this game.
Most definitely, and there's only been one tournament, international World Championships or Paralympic tournament, that they've never finished on the podium, and that was Sochi. So Espen Hedge, good job getting his guys back into the semifinals with a chance to play for a medal. And this is his first World Championships too, so definitely a lot of excitement there for him.
Of course it is. As we look at the player of the game for Japan, and who do you have?
Takahashi, just for the beating that he took. I'm not sure if that's going to be the guy, but they did a good job overall, just staying with it and not giving up.
And it's number 25. It's going to be Eiji Misawa, who is going to get the Player of the Game award for Japan. And we smile a little bit because I guess it's a sense of humor of a hockey background for both of us, knowing that this game comes with its ups and its downs and its bumps and its bruises, and also its hands above your head and your moments of satisfaction as well. Masao will be feeling good, but we sort of almost enjoyed seeing that physicality because it showed that there was still a heartbeat left in this game, and they were playing it honest, they're playing it true, and they're playing it until the final buzzer was blown.
Exactly.
And then the Norwegians today, where would you say that the best player of the game award goes to? And before I can give you a chance, my apology again, Taylor. It is Magnus Bogla, the youngster, and he was spearheading that line with Sorheim out there as well. And they were good. And Martin Hamra, I mean, and you say, I'm sure Espen Hedge is feeling good about the youth of his program and how they're performing at these World Championships.
Without a doubt, and they're going to have to rely on that youth for not just this tournament, but years to come. As I said earlier, that's the lifeblood of sledge hockey in the world and in each of these countries, is developing that youth and bringing those players up through the system and ultimately to the national team to compete in these World Championships and Paralympic Games. So good for Bogla.
And a moment of pride as the playing of the Norwegian national anthem, and you look at the smile on Patterson's face. Always interesting to watch the playing of the national anthem, to really see how the teams that win and are being acknowledged for their success and how they respond and just their patriotic pride. And if there's one thing I can say as we look back at the stats in this hockey game, I don't think the Norwegian tournament is done, in as much as I don't think they will be content, or nor do I think they'll leave Buffalo without a medal.
I hope so. Like I said, it's the first time in Sochi that they haven't been on the medal stand in a major international tournament, so definitely looking to get back on that podium.
And we'll look back at the flavor of this game. We didn't have a goal in the first period, and then the goal that changed it all as it went right through the wickets. And then they added it, Sahlberg coming down this left wing, and he went to the left hand, and he went through. At the time, it was Nagase in goal still, and then Patterson. Well, he just grabbed this situation, and he drove it just where he needed to, in the back of the net. And then they kept coming. Rivera getting a little bit of a favorable bounce as he just gets the puck on goal. And then Magnus Bogla and Sorheim picks it up, and they put a 5 spot on the board, and very good balanced scoring. And a Norwegian team, as you look at some of the hits here, Bubbo, and then another one just for good measure, just to remind him that that's where he was the last time. And Klake with a physicality as well. But Norway, a very proud nation, a very passionate performance. Japan, they did their job in this tournament as well. A good finish to the preliminary round. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we've enjoyed sharing it with you. I'm Brent Pope. On behalf of Taylor Lipset, good night from Buffalo, New York.